Welcome to the October 2024 edition of This Month in Payroll. I'm Claire Soccio, a partner in PwC's Payroll Advisory and Operations practice. In this edition, we will focus on AI developments impacting payroll, key considerations as we prepare for calendar year end, and the impending introduction of criminal penalties for wage theft. First, to artificial intelligence. This is a topic on almost everyone's mind at the moment, exploring how AI can further transform operations. Relevantly, the use of AI in payroll is an area that the government highlighted as high risk last month when it released its proposed mandatory guardrails for the use of AI in high-risk settings. So we're starting today's edition with a discussion about the opportunities and potential, and also the obligations that AI developments are bringing to payroll functions. Payroll is already recognised for its early adoption of advanced technology and AI. Well-tested use cases include automation of data entry and processing, detection of anomalies, potential errors and fraud risks, and AI-powered chatbots and virtual assistants in employee self-service portals. We should be proud of the benefits AI is already delivering to payroll, and there are undoubtedly more opportunities to drive further strategic value and efficiency. So where might AI take payroll next? Perhaps greater personalisation of pay slips to improve the employee experience, or more sophisticated workforce planning tools that draw on deeper inputs around business and environmental trends, or advanced blockchain integration that further enhances payroll transparency, security and traceability. The potential is exciting, and the benefits of increased confidence and improved employee experience are significant. As highlighted, the Australian government released 2 papers in September to guide the development and use of AI in Australia. The intent is to develop a regulatory environment that builds community trust while promoting AI adoption. One of these papers proposes 10 mandatory guardrails for the use of AI in high-risk settings and options for the regulation of those guardrails. The other paper establishes voluntary standards to be applied by organisations wanting to implement responsible AI practices. The guidance largely aligns with international developments in AI regulation, including those in the EU, the UK and Canada. The proposed mandatory guardrails for AI in high-risk settings will require developers and deployers to take specific actions across the AI life cycle, which focus on testing, transparency, governance and accountability to manage the risks in AI systems. There's also a specific requirement to ensure human control or intervention to achieve meaningful human oversight. Relevantly, payroll is specifically called out as an example of a potential high-risk setting, but importantly, not for every application of AI in payroll. In determining whether an AI system is high risk, and therefore whether the mandatory guardrails will apply, an organisation would need to consider the type of impact the employee would have on people, any potential discriminatory impacts on people from a particular cohort, any society-wide impacts based on the scale of the deployment, and the severity and extent to which the risks are likely to occur. In the context of employment and workplace settings, the discussion paper draws a distinction between 2 examples relevant to payroll. Firstly, an automated rostering system which could be considered high risk and therefore subject to the mandatory guardrails. This is because of its potential to discriminate and impact a person's ability to participate in work. By contrast, an AI system used to automatically pre-fill payroll information based on existing time and attendance data would likely not be considered high risk, and as such, the mandatory guardrails would not apply. But an organisation may still choose to adopt the voluntary standards for responsible use of AI. The sensitivity of payroll data means that regardless of whether a particular AI system is classified as high risk or not, there needs to be confidence that safeguards are in place to manage the associated risks. Payroll functions might consider the following aspects to support the responsible and successful use of AI in their payroll processes. Firstly, comprehensive testing during development and deployment to ensure that any system achieves the expected performance standards. Secondly, a strategy to maintain and regularly audit data privacy and security to minimise the risk of a breach or misuse leading to regulatory and reputational concerns. A people-centric change management strategy focusing on training, communication and stakeholder engagement to encourage adoption of any new processes and workflows. Investment in new skills and competencies to identify, develop and deliver the potential of AI-led systems. and a thorough and tested business continuity plan that ensures payroll can continue to be delivered in the event of system failures or malfunctions. The opportunities presented by AI in payroll are significant. Yet the complexity of regulations and the need to apply judgment and decision-making to unpredictable circumstances and exceptions will continue to warrant human oversight. While the mandatory guardrails are yet to be finalised, organisations should familiarise themselves with the proposed framework and consider the potential categorisation of any payroll AI system as high risk. In the meantime, the voluntary standards could be adopted to support the responsible deployment of AI in payroll. Now, with the end of the calendar year fast approaching, some businesses are leaning into their busiest time of year, while others are preparing for business-wide shutdowns. Both these scenarios present significant challenges to the timely delivery of payroll in and around multiple public holidays. Some key considerations for your payroll might include determining the correct treatment of public holidays. The Fair Work Act allows employers to ask their employees to work on public holidays, but any request must be reasonable, and the employee can refuse the request if their refusal is reasonable. Employers need to take care that they do not assume or require employees to work on public holidays, and should instead take active steps to confirm the employee's acceptance of any public holiday shifts. Particular care should also be taken to ensure compliance with all public holiday entitlements. Different entitlements and rates will apply depending on whether the public holiday is worked or not worked. In some cases, an entitlement arises even where the public holiday is not a usual workday for the employee. A number of employers have had to remediate their historical treatment of public holidays during periods of paid and unpaid leave, including annual, sick and long service leave periods. So if you haven't already, now is a good time to proactively check the payroll system configuration for public holidays during periods of leave. Directing employees to take annual leave. Under certain awards and enterprise agreements, employers can require employees to take annual leave during business shutdowns, provided the minimum notice period is met. From a payroll perspective, planning should consider whether leave is being taken as annual or unpaid leave, any impact on ongoing leave accruals during the shutdown, and the appropriate treatment of public holidays during the shutdown. Requesting the early submission of paid and unpaid leave requests can minimise the risk of overpayments due to the late processing of those requests. Payroll continuity around public holidays. Regular payroll schedules might be impacted by the large number of public holidays and team absences. Early and proactive planning should address revised schedules for processing, approving and delivering payroll, and communicating these dates, including any payroll office closure dates, to relevant stakeholders. Coordination with HR and business partners is essential to establish cut-off dates for the onboarding of new and offboarding of terminating employees, allowing accurate and timely payments for both incoming and exiting employees. Temporary adjustments to accountabilities and delegations of authority may need to be made, if necessary, to allow independent review and approval of payroll within required timeframes. And a review of the business continuity plan to enable the seamless delivery of payroll in the event of any disruptions to payroll technology. Both the Fair Work Ombudsman and the ATO have issued guidance this month to help employers plan and prepare for the additional considerations across the end-of-year holiday season. As always, early planning and communication is encouraged to allow for timely and accurate payroll processing. And now to a reminder about the new criminal penalties for wage theft that will become effective from 1 January 2025. Under the new rules, employers who intentionally underpay workers or withhold entitlements can face criminal penalties including substantial fines and imprisonment. The new offence will apply to intentional underpayments that happen after 1 January 2025, including where they're part of a course of action that began before that date. The reforms strengthen the Fair Work Ombudsman's powers to investigate violations, and employers found guilty of wage theft can face fines up to $7.8 million for companies and $1.6 million for individuals, or 3 times the amount of the underpayment if that is higher. In addition, individuals responsible for wage theft can be sentenced up to 10 years in prison. These stringent measures aim to deter exploitative practices and promote a culture of compliance within the workforce. As the start date for this new legislation draws nearer, there may be heightened focus on the readiness of the payroll function to achieve legal compliance. It's important to be clear that these rules are not intended to target employers who make an inadvertent, isolated error, especially where there is otherwise a strong culture of compliance, including comprehensive processes and systems, and timely identification and resolution of payroll errors. Employers should be well placed to navigate these new laws if they have already taken steps to review their payroll compliance and implement continuous monitoring programs that quickly identify and fix unintentional errors. There should also be a strong framework in place to govern the impact of legislative changes and to ensure strong record-keeping practices and timely and fulsome investigation and resolution of employee queries. The Fair Work Ombudsman expects a level of senior executive and board-level oversight, so a regular rhythm of transparent reporting, together with clear accountabilities for compliance, will be important. Before we close, a note about our final Workforce Leaders Forum, which will shine a spotlight onto Payday Super. At the virtual forum on Tuesday the 26th of November, we will explore the changes in detail and consider the operational, cash flow and employment tax implications for employers. Our panel will include Michelle Bauer, CEO of the Gateway Network Governance Body, who will bring insights from the superannuation industry, along with our PwC payroll and employment tax specialists. You're very welcome to register for this event using the link on your screen. And that's it for our October edition of This Month in Payroll. If you would like to revisit any of our prior updates, they're available on our website at pwc.com.au/payroll. And if you have any questions or need for support, please reach out to myself or your usual PwC contact. Until next time, have a great month in payroll.